Another achievement for the Purple Power and another milestone today, as two leading senators adopt the push of the Purple Power yet again. Let's recap. Over 2 weeks ago, a budget bill to fund the federal budget, called the Continuing Resolution, the CR, was in play. And I told Purple Power, the viewers of this channel, you know what, let's try to get stimulus into the CR because it has a deadline. It has a deadline and no one was giving you stimulus. So we started the campaign hashtag CR for stimulus. And suddenly, everyone wanted to have stimulus in the CR. But as viewers saw it unravel, suddenly no one wanted to have a stimulus check in the CR. So that started the next campaign, hashtag stimulus checks or shutdown. Give the viewers of this channel and millions of Americans across the country who need a stimulus check now in the CR, or vote to shut down the federal government. Don't pass the CR. Today, those exact words were repeated on the Senate floor in no less than that version. Senator Bernie Sanders, independent out of Vermont, and Senator Josh Hawley said, you know what? I'm tired of you folks. You need to send out a stimulus check. I'll give you one more week. But that's it. At that point, we're voting against the CR. Stimulus checks or CR, now on a national agenda, now on prime time, as Republicans, Democrats, and now an independent are stepping forward and saying, send out a stimulus check or we're shutting down the federal government next week. This is a bombshell recording of the achievements of the viewers of this channel on Afternoons LALATE. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I am so excited and so proud of you because you did this. You did this on Afternoons LA over the last 5, 6, 7 days. You got the national agenda to focus on what we were saying. It was our push. No one else said it. I said it on this recording, and you got the narrative out on social media, on Twitter and Facebook. Stimulus checks are shut down. And today, that agenda was adopted on a national platform in the Senate of the United States Congress. Where are we? Well, first of all, let's subscribe, because no one is trying to change the push of the national agenda in favor of the American people more than you and me. And today we saw yet another achievement in a series of achievements from Purple Power that has spanned since July of this year, that this was perhaps one of the biggest. Getting a very loud statement out from no less than 2 senators from different sides of the political spectrum that they will shut down the federal government if there is no stimulus check set out next week. Exactly what these recordings have said. So please subscribe. Meantime, I'm getting viewers money right now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 days from now, not 5 months from now. And we're doing an incredible job with this CARES Act 1 money, this stimulus money. As one viewer said, I never knew there was all this money available in the city, county, and state until you, LA, started doing this. You have changed my family's life during this holidays, so thank you. This is free money. This is rent. This is utilities. This is food. This is even gifts. So stay with me. Subscribe. Also, hit the alert button on the phone channel so you get alert when I go live. I'm answering questions 24/7 on no less than several live broadcasts throughout the day, separated by topic. And I don't want to miss you, and I hope you don't miss me. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. In this video, I'm going to go over what happened minutes ago, and your jaw's going to drop. And then I'll be turning to what's happening in the next few days. Meantime, I'll be turning to what's happening with Nancy and that extension. It doesn't really match her hairstyle. And then I'll be focusing on what will happen thereafter. Meantime, I'll be turning to $2,400 SSI and SSDI. I'll be then covering the issues that you've been asking about. Hashtag MSC. Where's that? Hashtag FPUC. Where's that? And then hashtag hazard pay. Meantime, join me right after this broadcast for for Purple, in which I'll go over new shocking developments across the board for free money that's available in your city, county, and state that we never knew about before. Very, very, very exciting. And then finally, join me for Being a Mitch, which is the end of Afternoons LA. That is a live recording in which I answer your questions about UI, PUA, and FPUC. With that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here today is that Bernie Sanders said ostensibly all the words of the recordings of this channel on the Senate floor minutes ago. He said, you know what, Mitch, you know what, I don't want to shut down the federal government, but I'll give you one chance. I'll give you a 1-week extension to do this continuing resolution budget bill, but after that, I'm not going to give you another extension. If you want to, I will vote against any approving of the Senate budget bill and just set it up for a shutdown unless you send out a stimulus check. Messaging was very clear. It was stimulus check or shutdown. It was no other version of the messaging than that. And that's exactly what I had been pushing on this channel for nearly 2 weeks. Hashtag stimulus check or shutdown. What are we talking about? We're talking about that legislators simply just don't want to give a stimulus check in some parts of the political spectrum and have been really trying to just do the same old darn thing. Bailouts of big business, big corporate business, airlines, hotels, people who have fortunes or have gotten stimulus relief before, millions of dollars. Back were the problem creators, Josh and Tom and Jerry, that wanted a big bailout for restaurants that got bailouts 2, 3, 4 times again and now wanted $2 million in the owner's hands for another round of PPP, not necessarily an emergency. Then there was Nancy, who wanted big bailouts of airlines and hotels, and Chuck that wanted bailouts of Broadway. Then there was people that wanted bailouts for people who got bailouts before. And you and I said, enough is enough. Where the hell is the darn stimulus check already? I mean, you know, I got it that you want to do that, but where's the stimulus check? And so it came to a head. It came to a head yesterday as a Republican, Josh Hawley out of Missouri, had introduced a standalone bill. A standalone bill. What was the standalone bill about? A stimulus check. $1,200 for individuals, $500 for children. This is the first time we've seen a standalone bill for a stimulus check since I wrote it over the summer. No one has had the audacity to even put something to paper. Recap, the problem creators, their memo is a memo still. Mitch's thing for the CR, also a memo. There is no bill for those. So Josh wrote a bill and introduced the bill. And after he introduced the bill, the whole universe came out in support of it. AOC, Sanders, Warren, and the more and more Democrats and Republicans and independents came forward and said, you know what, we're going to vote to shut down the federal government if you don't include a stimulus check, and it has to be $1,200 or more. It got better. Josh spoke to the president several times, and the president had indicated he would do about $1,200 to $2,000 for a stimulus check. And Josh had urged the president to veto any bill, of which there is still none, that comes on his desk that doesn't have a stimulus check in it. So today, we started with the Senate taking up the following: an extension. Nancy Pelosi last night turned to her House members, her flock of sheep, and said, what do you think of what I'm doing here? Do you think I need extension? They're like, Nancy, they don't carry your color. She said, I'm talking about an extension for the CR, not my hair. That kind of YouTube channel that talks about my hair all the time. And so they're like, yeah, we'll do an extension. So Nancy Pelosi did much of nothing. And it just extended her stuff and put the House on recess because they had to go, Christmas shopping over the weekend, buy some lobsters. And so put them on recess and sent it to Mitch. But Mitch didn't do anything. And the day started with Mitch still not doing anything. But by midday, Mitch said, you know what, I'm going to do an extension. I need a 1-week extension to do what I want to do. And then the heavens opened up. Bernie Sanders came out slamming Mitch McConnell and Josh Hawley as well, said, you got to stop this. We're going to vote against your continuing resolution extension right now if you don't give us a stimulus check. Mitch panicked. And ultimately, the parties agreed. One time, I will give you one extension, and that's it. Next week, I'm shutting you down if you don't send out a stimulus check. And Bernie Sanders said it just like that. So as you sit here today, what's going on? Well, the continuing resolution has been sent to the president. He will likely sign it. This is an extension. And then what happens on Monday, the fights continue to do the standalone bill. Now, to make these things very clear, because it may sound procedurally confusing, Josh's bill is not a CR bill. It is a stimulus bill. It is a standalone stimulus bill with a stimulus check. It needs three things to be fixed in it. One, it needs an extension of PUA and UI. Tell Josh and Bernie that. Two, it needs an extent. Well, that was two things. Okay. One, it needs extension of PUA. Two, it needs extension of UI. Three, it needs an eviction moratorium in there. Four, it needs a mortgage forbearance. And five, it needs to ensure that the language is written in a way in which it makes clear that all adults will get a $1,200 stimulus check. It's not clear from the language whether adult dependents do or don't. Bernie made it very clear today, everyone gets a stimulus check that falls within an income level. He does not intend to cut veterans out of this or seniors. So there is a drafting issue that needs to be fixed. Get that messaging out loud and clear. Tag Josh Hawley, tag Bernie Sanders, tag Warren, tag all the other ones that I mentioned in the videos that support this AOC, and make it very clear. And also tag the people who are on the fence, Mitch's communications director, and his press secretary, and say, hey, take Josh's bill, modify it, add UI, PUA, 1 month, eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, and fix the language to ensure all adults get the stimulus check, and we are done. We're done. Suddenly you have a bill, Josh's bill, that wouldn't have anything to do with the CR. It's just a bill. It's just a bill, but it's a, how would you say it? It's a blockade bill in a way. It's basically, you know what? You have the CR to do. I'm not going to support that CR if you don't do my bill. So I'm going to call my bill for a vote, and you're going to approve my vote, or we're going to block your bill. It's my bill for your bill situation. It's ingenious, and I love it. And do I think it's going to happen? Oh, yeah. Now, what's happening across the board is that Democrats are not supporting Nancy Pelosi. They're not supporting Chuck Schumer. They're not supporting Joe Biden, who has literally been silent for the last week. Joe, what are you doing? Joe has literally gone silent on this whole thing for the last week. Are you leading or are you not leading? Because you need to start stepping up and talking, Joe. I see you're putting all these career politicians to cabinet seats, but it's like, wait a second. We're in the midst of a stimulus debacle here this week, and you have been silent about it the entire week. Not a good look, Joe. The president United States has done a good look, but although not particularly consistent with the Steve Mnuchin mess earlier this week, in speaking to Josh and saying, I want to do $1,200 to $2,000 stimulus check, but the president has not been consistent enough in the messaging. So there you go. What will happen? Well, they will resume the negotiations of this throughout the day. And again, on Monday, the Senate is not leaving, and people are not actually physically leaving town. I always have to just explain this because it's very confusing. The word in recess means much of nothing if there's actually if the people are actually in town. They're still in town. No one is. When I joke at the beginning that they're going, flying off to have Mai Tais in Barbados, that's not happening. They may be going Christmas shopping, buying themselves some Bentleys, but they are not leaving town. So they are still working on these issues. Now, $2,400 SSI and SSDI, yes. So that would come in January. Multiple stimulus checks, yeah, that would come in January. FPUC retroactive, yes, that would come in January. How about all the other things like UI and PUA after January? Yes, that would come in January. What's important to understand, and I'll go over this in the later videos like being a Mitch, some states are extending your weeks of unemployment assistance, so you're protected despite the concerns of what's going on in Congress, but not enough states are doing it. So currently Hawaii, and I've been told Illinois and perhaps New York are the states that are giving additional weeks of UI past December 31st. But the rest of the states, of which there's a lot, are not protecting you yet. Then, what would happen in January? Well, you would see a massive omnibus, a massive bill that would have all these things in it. And you would hope that Joe is going to do a better job then than he's done the last 7 days, which has been much of nothing. He is promising $600 FPUC back to August. Second, he's promising the $2,400 for SSI and SSDI and VA and railroad benefits, $200 a month for every month all the way to December, plus a 20% increase, as much as 20% increase, plus a new benchmark that would raise your benefits annually based upon a new benchmark that is not COLA. That would likely be in a standalone bill, but the big massive bill would be FPUC back 20-something weeks or 30-something weeks now, then hazard pay back to January of 2020. The CDC grant, the EIDL, new round, some more PPP, rent aid, food aid, and things like that. But, you know, every day that passes, and here's my political commentary about the situation, every day that passes and people are wondering about what's happening in January, which is not that far away, it's just days away, and you don't have the person who wants to push that agenda not talking about it, it makes people skittish. So I would hope that the leadership that wants to do those things, the $2,400 SSI and SSDI, that wants to do the MSC, the multiple stimulus checks, a check every month until we're out of this pandemic, so says Harris, so says Biden, that they repeat this messaging more than once every 2,000 years. The last time we heard this messaging was in part about 2 weeks ago, some of it last week, but we heard nothing about anything economic stimulus related from the Biden camp this last 7 days. I don't like that. So not to say he's not doing it. It's just, you know, you got to start getting this message out loud and clear because people are going to start to forget and start to push their agendas. Next, what's really exciting across the board is there's 3 other ways you can get money right now. This is money right now that I'm getting viewers around the clock. There's now 14 volunteers on this channel on the community page, which if you are on a computer, there's a pinned comment in the corner that you can open up and see the link. If you're not on a computer but on a cell phone, go into the first pinned comment and you'll open it up and it'll show you a link directly to the community page, which is news.llate.com/community. On there, you will see the 14 volunteers who are separated from Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But what I want you to do is have the information right now that you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself if you follow the following advice. You're first looking for rent, then you're looking for utilities, and then you're looking for food. If there is a stimulus check out there, so be it. But many places have not sent out stimulus checks. Some have. On holidays LA today, we were told about Colorado for a stimulus check. We were told about Houston for a stimulus check. But it's not everywhere. What's important to understand is the rent is the big money. It's available in your city, your county, your state. And then you want to check the housing departments of all those agencies. Your city housing agency, your state housing authority, and your county housing authority. You call them up on the phone saying, hi, do you have any rent assistance? Hi, do you have any utility assistance? Then you call up your utility companies and you say, hi, do you have any utility assistance? Hi, do you have any utility help? Because of COVID, you need to make the phone call. You need to go on the websites to look it up on your county's website, your city's website. Ultimately, this is a hustle. It is not a situation where you can just sit back and do much of nothing. And I'm saying this with a lot of tough love. And the reason why I'm saying it is a lot of these programs are first come, first serve. So putting a post on Facebook says, hi, can someone help me? Thank you. Goodbye. Is not a hustle, because there are going to be 2,000 people that have heard the same thing you just heard, and they're calling up that state agency in that state where you are, and they're calling them up to say, hi, do you have rent? And you're on Facebook just waiting for someone to find you. No, you need to make the call, make the connection. You need to reach out to these agencies and make the call, because ultimately the money won't be there indefinitely. City, state, and county money from CARES Act 1 may be gone by December 15th. It's that quickly. Then the incredible great news is that the private organizations, these nonprofits that have been around for 100-something years, are paying for rent and utilities literally almost everywhere. And this is what's incredible great news. So that if you're in a city or state that doesn't seem to pay anything for anyone, these organizations are coming up and paying money. But again, you got to call them. You got to call them. You got to tune into Purple Power Live every night. I go over each one of them. I go over which ones in your state especially are paying the money. And you got to pick up the phone and call them. It's not as simple as you just post a word and say, hi, reach out to me. No, you need to contact them. Finally, utility companies, they're all paying utilities almost across the board. Next, if you're having problems with any of these things, go to the volunteers. Then, escalate benefits. Oh, yeah, baby. You need to do escalate benefits if you qualify. If you made $18,000 or more in 2019, you need to do escalate benefits. It's so simple. You pull your 2019 tax return, you scan it or take a picture of it, put it in your phone or your computer, and get ready to send it out with a message. An email or a cover letter. Hi, Unemployment Department. Please look at my 2019 tax return and see if I qualify for additional weekly benefits. That's it. Additional weekly benefits. Simple words. Make the words as simple as you can, like it's for a 3-year-old kid. Simple words, not complicated words. And this is the benchmark. This is what you need to do before you send it out. Look up the range of benefits your state pays on Google. There's 9,000 websites that have it. For example, Texas goes over $500, as low as, I think, $50. So when you get someone on the phone from Texas, from the unemployment department, they tell you, we never pay more than $100 a week. You know it's not true. Thank you. Have a beautiful Christmas. I'm going to talk to someone else. Goodbye. Click. And you call in and talk to someone else. When you send off the letter, I want you to follow up with the representative the next day. Then EIDL. I want you to get those on file if you want to do EIDL. That won't be around much longer. If you have questions or comments about EIDL or escalated benefits, tune in to Purple. I'll have more about them in more detail coming up right on this. And then follow that is Mitch, which will answer your questions live. I will be going live to answer your questions about UIPU and FPUC. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.